Okay, by a show of hands, who has watched a Christmas movie sometime in the last few weeks? You don't have to be shy. You watch a Christmas movie. I'm kind of a Christmas movie junkie, I want to let you know. Every December, I absolutely love watching Christmas movies, and one of the things that I've noticed about the Christmas movie as I've watched so many of them over the years is most of the best Christmas movies essentially follow the same basic plot line. All right, now it's a winning plot line. I love this plot line, but it's basically the same thing, every single one of them, and I eat it up. Plot line goes something like this. It's Christmas time. And for all kinds of different reasons, the main character is feeling kind of down, can't manage to be happy until right at Christmas, something big happens to touch the person's soul and to reveal to them the true meaning of Christmas. Their eyes are open to the spirit of Christmas. All right, so that's the plot line. Let's think about it for a second, because it's the story of all of our most beloved Christmas movies. Let's start with the Charlie Brown Christmas, okay? He's depressed, you remember, as it starts out. He goes and buys the little, dinky little tree. Everybody's got that mental image, and then by the end, all the friends gather by Snoopy's doghouse. They decorate the tree. They sing Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and everybody is happy. Or George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. Uncle Billy loses all of the money. George is thinking about taking his own life until the angel shows up, Clarence, and shows him what a big impact he's made on the world. And then in the end, the whole town turns out to support George, help him out, and happiness comes. I'm telling you, this is the plot of every single one of these. I'm going to keep going. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Christmas Vacation with Clark Griswold and Chevy Chase. It's the story of Buddy the Elf's dad, Walter Hobbs, in the movie Elf. Ebenezer Scrooge in The Granddaddy of Them All. Think about it for a minute. He's miser, humbug, all this money but no joy. Gets visited by the three ghosts, and by Christmas morning he's giddy. He's full of excitement. Now he can truly live. Now there is joy. So you see what I'm saying? There's this winning plot line that all these Christmas movies follow. Christmas helps all of these characters find joy. All of these movies do pick up on something important. Christmas and joy go together. On this third Sunday of Advent, for many centuries, Christians have read from St. Paul's letter to the Philippians, the same passage that we read in this morning's second reading. And the key memory verse for the third Sunday of Advent is the opening line of that passage from Philippians 4:4. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say, rejoice. That's what these rose-colored vestments are all about today. The pink candle or the rose candle that we light on the Advent wreath. It's different than the others because today is kind of this pivot point where we start to focus on the coming celebration of the incarnation of Jesus Christ. God himself coming among us through the gift of the Christ child. Christmas is less than 2 weeks away, and today's theme of joy reminds us that as we begin to focus on the birth of Christ, joy necessarily goes along with it. Think for a second back to the first Christmas and that first Christmas proclamation. The angels show up and they talk to the shepherds out in the fields who are watching their flocks by night. And do you remember what they say to them? Behold, I bring you tidings of a great Joy. Because unto you this day is born in the city of David a Savior who is Christ the Lord. Tidings of great joy. Of course, there are carols that we will soon be singing. Joy to the world. Will come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Heck, there's even Frosty the Snowman, who's a happy, jolly soul. All of this is because there is joy that accompanies the birth of our Savior. So we're nearly there. And this third Sunday of Advent, with its theme of joy, and its focus is on rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Pope John Paul II in his preaching frequently reminded Christians that God has made us for joy. We were created for joy. We're thinking about joy today. It seems pretty obvious that all of us long for and search for joy. Deep down, there is something in every single human person. Every one of us wants to be joyful. We want to experience joy in our lives. And yet we know that many of us struggle to find that joy. So let's think about Christian joy for just a minute here this morning. One important thing that is important for us to notice and consider as we think about this verse, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice, from Philippians 4, is that St. Paul is writing these words from prison. I'm guessing that his first century jail cell situation wasn't all that great. Everywhere he went, as he proclaimed the gospel, he wasn't always met with open arms. And yet, despite the surroundings and despite the lack of popularity, we read him right, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. These words remind us that true and lasting joy is not going to come to us from a situation or from a great turn of events or from a bunch of stuff or worldly success. It's not where joy comes from. Joy comes about through the Lord and through a life-saving relationship with Him. One of the best things that I learned in seminary wasn't in class. It was a nugget of wisdom that one of the professors just made an offhand remark one day, and it really landed with me, and I haven't forgot it. He said, never seek joy in and of itself. Seek the good, seek the true, seek the beautiful, seek whatever is honorable and praiseworthy, as St. Paul says in this morning's second reading. Those are the things that produce joy. Almost kind of as an after effect. And I do think that's the way it works. I think that's the way we find joy, and it's specifically the way that we find joy in our faith. We're drawn into the beauty of our faith and the truth of our faith in the Lord. And as we're drawn to it, the more joy we find. Here's the thing about joy. Everybody wants it. Everybody, whether religious or non-religious, men and women, rich and poor, doesn't matter. Everybody wants it, and yet there's a mistake that about 98% of us make as we try to strive after joy. We say, I'll get joy by filling something up in me that is lacking. We think to ourselves, I don't have enough, and then we fill in the blank. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough power. I don't have enough pleasure. I don't have enough esteem. Those are the four things, by the way, that Thomas Aquinas says that that all of our human pursuits to be happy really boil down to 4 things: wealth, pleasure, power, and honor. We think there's something missing. I won't be happy until I get it. And most of us spend a lot of our life doing just that, day by day, seeking to fill up this emptiness from the outside. It doesn't work. Because it just doesn't work that way. That's what the whole Bible tells us. It's what our entire faith tradition tells us. It's what the saints teach us, that it doesn't work that way, and deep down we all know it. We strive and we strive and we strive, and it doesn't ultimately make us happy. It doesn't bring us the joy that we really, really want. We're made happy. We find that joy that we really, really want, that deep down, lasting joy. We find it by turning our life into a gift. By giving ourselves up in love, by giving ourselves over to the Lord and to others in love, because love is the one thing, the only thing that will bring us that deep down and lasting joy. All those characters in the Christmas movies, yeah, they're on to something. Joy and Christmas do go together, but not usually in the way that all those movies portray. Because the next event, and the next possession, and the right gift under the tree, if we think that that is what's going to bring us joy, then we have utterly, utterly missed the point. What St. Paul is saying in Philippians chapter 4 is that joy breaks in through the knowledge that you and I are children of the living God, and precious, precious children at that. Joy breaks in when we stop focusing quite so much on ourselves and we start focusing more on others. Joy breaks in when we seek the one who is the ultimate good and the ultimate true and the ultimate beautiful, our Lord Jesus Christ. So today our theme is joy. We were created for joy, and we remember that our joy is found in the Lord Himself. By giving ourselves over more and more to His service, that will be the way that we find the joy that we want. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice.